they do me lomo lomo.
Kena kwabo na didn't know what you saw.
Oh, so in my car traffic no more sense. But they forget it. Rebecca was cemetery. Hey, Charlie, upio pisili a nice power. Shabaristes papi, kitchen cabinet, electrical works installation is also a very nice power. Where do you sabro you?
If I butcher a Ghana hire, a hoto AA construction works.
A hoto AA construction.
Just send a mid danger and nice to engine and assassination of a cajon. A hotel diamond team if you are complete. It is a open building company. Our musi diner one who dinner a channel as we have a cajon. A hoto A works. We are dinosaur capitry work be a father and who be a hoto A betting me I am. Oh, shall me kitchen cabinet no papa pa. A one who dinner A construction at Doromanti. Say bunny plumbing works be a hoto A construction the mushroom. Shall me kitchen in a bathhouse. Plumbing works a wine in a hoto AA constructions. And a bun electrical installation and design works be a hoto AA construction. Yamani City international standard.
Oh, that's very nice. Shetali papa be a yelly. Painting see a very nice and unique. When so a hoto for
and a band tile in the painting works there. Ahuto AA construction a master class. Quality POP barristers. And now fabrication of modern aluminium works are. But when it's true Ahuto AA construction works. Ahuto AA construction works so on bathroom doors, wooden doors, BAB, say a single, double, and answer 1.5. Almost also to main gate or modi governance and stainless steel swai. Trisha Ahuto AA construction for a track a chamai, a bank, 3 junction, amasamai, and answer as a Mankes police barrier. From more number issue 0547 118 843 and I say 0537 883 572.
Who is it tomorrow? Somebody else come pick you up.
You are welcome to News at 6 from the studios of Big Family Radio here in Accra. Now the top stories. The Interior Minister has called for the reclassification of Narcotics Control Commission as security agency. The post-harvest unit have appealed for 24-hour economic inclusion to boost farmers' income. And in the international news, Sahago district in Busan is offering up to $64,000 in cash and housing benefits to boost marriage and childbirth. Suleiman R. Raji has given away $16 billion fortune by choice, redefining his wealth with one of history's largest charitable works. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has announced a new Transportation Security Administration (TSA) policy allowing passengers to keep shoes on during security screening. And in the entertainment news, Lateef Abubakar has partnered with Korean Embassy to launch Saint-Majole Theatre Production as headliner for 2025 Korean Culture Festival. Starting with the local news. The Minister for Interior, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak, has addressed Parliament on security matters, highlighting the critical role of the Narcotics Control Commission in combating illicit drug trafficking and transnational crime. According to Honorable Mubarak, the Commission's functions are indispensable and it serves as an essential frontline law enforcement agency. During a working visit to the Commission on February 27, 2025, the Minister underscored the importance of the Commission's mandate as outlined in the Narcotics Control Commission Act 2020, Act 1019. However, Honorable Mubarak noted that the exclusion of the Narcotics Control Commission from the Security and Intelligence Agency Act 2020, Act 1030 requires urgent correction. The Minister emphasized that the Commission's role in national security is paramount, and its reclassification as a security agency is not a matter of convenience, but a necessity. As the sector minister, Honorable Mubarak has recommended that the Narcotics Control Commission be included in the proposed amendment to the provisions of Act 1019 and the Intelligence Agency Act under review, in line with international best practices. Similar recommendations have been made to the Constitution Review Committee to explicitly cite the Narcotics Control Commission as a state security agency in the Constitution. This move aims to strengthen the Commission's mandate and enhance its effectiveness in combating drug trafficking and related crimes.
The ministry firmly acknowledges the critical and sensitive role of the Narcotics Control Commission in combating illicit drug trafficking and transnational crime, especially in contemporary landscape where drug trafficking syndicates are more sophisticated and globally networked. Mr. Speaker, during my working visit to the Narcotics Control Commission on 27th of February 2025, I underscored the Commission's indispensable function as not just a regulatory body but an essential frontline law enforcement agency. Considering the robust mandate and powers conferred on Narcotics Control Commission in performance of its function in accordance with the provisions of the Narcotics Control Commissions Act 2020, Act 1019, the exclusion of Narcotics Control Commission from the Security and Intelligence Agency Act 2020, Act 1030, Mr. Speaker, could only be an oversight that must be urgently corrected. Therefore, as Act 1030 is being reviewed, Narcotics Control Commission cannot be left on the periphery. Hence, the need for the reclassification of Narcotics Control Commission as a security agency whose inclusion into the Security and Intelligence Agency Act is not a matter of convenience, but one that is regarded as a national security imperative. Consequently, as the Sector Minister, I have made essential recommendation for the Narcotics Control Commission to be considered as part of the proposed amendment to the provisions in the Act 1019 to be in tandem with provision in the Security and Intelligence Agency Act under review and in line with international best practices. Additionally, similar recommendations have been made to the Constitutional Review Committee to have narcotics control explicitly cited in the Constitution as a state security agency. The primacy of this agenda is key to the realization of the mandate of the agency. Unfortunately, the current exclusion undermines its operational capacity, especially in confronting increasingly sophisticated drug network. Mr. Speaker, however, the effectiveness of Narcotics Control Commission hinges on the entity being fully integrated into the national security architecture without delay. And Mr. Speaker, I can assure that we are working at this. Thank you very much.
Away from that story, Alhaji Idris Zakari, head of the post-harvest unit at the Association of Ghana Industries, is appealing to the government to include post-harvest units in the 24-hour economy initiative. This request, according to Alhaji Zakari, aims to reduce post-harvest losses, improve income for farmers, and enhance value addition by extending operational hours for post-harvest activities like storage, processing, and marketing. According to Alhaji Zakari, a significant portion of Ghana's agricultural produce is lost after harvest due to inadequate storage, processing, and transportation. I would be very happy if President Mahama considers us in his Grow 24 and Make 24-hour economy policy to extend our operational hours for these activities to minimize losses in our agricultural sector and ensure more food reaches consumers. Alhaji Zakari expressed, by reducing losses and facilitating better access to markets, farmers can potentially earn more from their produce. In an exclusive interview with the media, Alhaji Zakari stated that the potential of the 24-hour economy could enable more efficient processing of agricultural products, creating opportunities for value-added products without any hurdles. Alhaji Zakari also emphasized that creating an enabling environment for the post-harvest sector by the government could create more job opportunities for youth interested in agribusinesses. He appealed to the government to rehabilitate spoiled silos, noting that more consistent access to storage facilities, potentially with machines, could allow farmers to store their produce safely for longer periods, preventing spoilage and allowing them to sell at better market conditions. Alhaji Zakari applauded the government's policy to encourage businesses to operate around the clock and provide incentives for investment in post-harvest infrastructure. In conclusion, he reiterated that integrating post-harvest units into the 24-hour economy could significantly reduce food losses, boost farmer income, and enhance overall agriculture productivity, efficiency, and job creation.
And our facilities no most of them are not functioning as is my rich. We need rehabilitation. Now some of the fellows we are making on the keep and partnership of invested in my and now it is feeding and nice work. To create that another environment, we are going to scale up. The concept of bridging the gap between academia and industry, we are also helping our own small way.
To end the local news. Last week, Tuesday, 1st July 2025, was a day the entire country came together to observe the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving. A day for the entire country to show appreciation to the Almighty God for His blessings with the theme, Reset, Reflect and Renew the National Prosperity. Ghanaians embraced the day and participated in its observation, but few among was with the view that the observation of such occasions is not all that necessary at this moment whilst the country passes through a lot of difficulties and hardships. Due to this, a minister of God, a social commentator, and the chief executive officer of Gilgal School of the Bible, Apostle John Arizola, has said that it is never wrong for the entire country to observe such an occasion, although the country is in hardship, because at each moment, the country still needs God.
Second Chronicles was a my best one for me. You can say upon money you feel one because they can feel not a cobalt by any not the contract you 50 as soon as she can't at the end of the $150 as empire na yakobono na mfaso bia amaso because team ne say you beg Ghanaian free akwa money ho enti se mpanyimfo no sa akwa money bia ye wo mu say yanyan free one still empire na yakobono obi be say amfree mfaso bia ntima maso enti yen say bi ebetimi ahune say yakobo empire no na team man kata ye be ba ye ho ade no ye na say yanyan sa ade a na me be mu ni say empire na yakobo na mfaso bia ntima maso creation ni decree a waste of time.
You are listening to Big Family Radio. Big Family Radio. Obiase eye.
Before we move to the international news, you can continue watching the live coverage on Facebook at Big Family Radio, Instagram Big Family Radio, YouTube and TikTok Big Family Radio, and Big Family TV. You can as well download our radio app on the Google Play Store, on Android, and App Store on iOS. In response to South Korea's ongoing demographic crisis, the Sahagus district in Busan has launched a bold new initiative aimed at reversing its declining birth rate by offering couples a comprehensive support package valued up to $64,000. This wide-ranging incentive program is designed to encourage marriage, support family formation, and promote childbirth, addressing the region's record low fertility levels. The initiative includes several stages of financial and practical support tailored to help couples from the early stages of their relationship through to raising children. For individuals looking to begin serious relationships, the district is providing dating funds to help cover the cost of social activities and matchmaking services. Once couples decide to marry, they can apply for wedding-related financial assistance to ease the cost burden of ceremonies and related expenses. In addition to marriage support, The program offers housing-related benefits including monthly rent subsidies and priority access to public housing, making it easier for young couples to afford a stable home environment. After marriage, couples who choose to have children will receive further financial aid for childbirth and childcare, helping to offset the significant cost associated with raising a family in South Korea. Officials in Sahagu say the program is part of a broader strategy to create a more family-friendly society and to alleviate some of the economic pressures that deter many young people from marrying and starting families. South Korea currently holds one of the world's lowest birth rates, and local governments like Sahagu are stepping in with targeted policies in hopes of turning the trend around and securing the country's demographic future. Moving on, MSNBC host and legal analyst Ari Melba has raised pointed questions to House Minority Leader and New York Representative Hakeem Jeffries regarding the political stance and influence of Zoran Mamdani, a progressive state assembly member from New York, and his relationship with the broader Democratic Party. During a recent interview, Melba pressed Jeffries on how the Democratic leadership views Mamdani's outspoken positions, particularly those that challenge mainstream party policies on issues such as U.S. foreign policy, policing, and economic justice. Mamdani, a member of the Democratic Socialists of America (DSA), has gained attention for his unapologetically leftist views and grassroots activism, often aligning with the party's progressive wing led by figures like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Melba sought clarity on whether Jeffrey sees Mamdani and other similar progressive voices as an asset to the Democratic coalition or as a challenge to party unity, especially ahead of a high-stakes election cycle. He also questioned how the party plans to bridge the growing ideological gap between its centrist establishment and its more left-leaning members. Jeffries responded with measured remarks, acknowledging the importance of diverse viewpoints within the party while emphasizing the need for a unified front to effectively address national challenges and counter Republican opposition. The exchange highlighted ongoing tensions within the Democratic Party as it balances traditional political strategy with rising grassroots demands for systematic reform.
Zoran Mamdani came out of nowhere with less money, less fame, beat Andrew Cuomo, son of Mario Cuomo, known in New York. Is that a good thing for the Democratic Party?
Well, he ran a tremendous race. He outworked the opposition. He out-communicated the opposition. He out-organized the opposition. And I think one of the things that was key about what he was able to do is that he ran directly at the issue of affordability. Across every age demographic, it's the number one issue in the city of New York. Now, he articulated a very provocative platform in that regard. I look forward to sitting down and talking to him about his plans to actually implement that platform to deal with some of the challenges that the communities that I face are dealing with in terms of gentrification and displacement, and a whole host of other issues that I would normally talk about with any Democratic nominee, and certainly we'll talk about with our particular Democratic nominee in the context of the mayoral race. I think one of the things that we'll continue to try to do at the national level is to lean in aggressively to Donald Trump's failure to address the high cost of living. He promised to lower costs on day one. Costs aren't going down. It's going up. Inflation is on the way up. Life remains far too expensive for the American people.
I got to tell you,
want to do something about it.
Respectfully, I see the pivot. You know, you're good at this. That's how you got this job. But then I got to rephrase the question. You're not ready yet to say whether it's a good thing. You want to meet with him. You want to kick the tires. At this juncture, you're not ready to say that this turnout, this energy that he tapped in New York is good for the party yet.
Oh, no, listen. I mean, I think that when you can increase the electorate, particularly as it relates to parts of the electorate that came out in significant numbers, which include the South Asian community in many parts of New York City, and certainly younger folks under the age of 39 in New York City, that is absolutely a good thing. And of course, he should be credited with pulling off that kind of campaign that reached so many folks.
But the tension here, if I'm hearing some possible tension, is, as you know, the Democratic Party has had a hard time with some of these whatever you call them, democratic socialists, insurgents, more liberal, energetic candidates, even when they do what you just referred to. So we have a history here from Bernie Sanders, some of the way AOC or members of the squad were treated, and now some of the apparent reaction where people are wondering, is there room in the tent? Not saying that even you have a lot more power than him. Not saying you would endorse his platform. His platform is affordability, ideas around democratic socialism, raising the tax rate in the city of New York, free buses, a different type of foreign policy, if we simplify, but much more harshly critical of the Israeli government, say, than I think the congressional leaders have been in terms of approaching the entire conflict. Is there room in the Big Ten of the Democratic Party for that right now, or for you is that TBD?
Well, certainly we're a Big Ten party, and I think what I'll say in terms of the House Democratic Caucus family is that every single member of the House Democratic Caucus, from Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez all the way to Representative Jerry Golden, and everyone in between, progressives, New Dems, and Blue Dogs, we in the House, we represent the gorgeous mosaic of the American people. That's a good thing. Now, I think what we have to do is make sure that we can more intimately communicate with the American people, that we understand their challenges and their frustrations as it relates to the desire to build an affordable economy that actually works for working class Americans, that we hear you, we see you, we feel you, and we're committed to making life better for you. And the bigger the tent, the more likely it is that we can reach the greatest number of Americans.
Away from that story, Suleiman al-Rajhi, once ranked among the wealthiest individuals on the planet, is no longer a billionaire, but not because of financial loss or misfortune. At 95 years old, the Saudi banking tycoon made headlines worldwide for voluntarily giving away nearly his entire fortune, totaling close to $16 billion, in what stands as one of the largest acts of individual philanthropy in history. Al-Rajhi, a co-founder of Al-Rajhi Bank, one of the largest and most profitable Islamic banks in the world, didn't just donate liquid cash. He gave away vast assets, including his shares in bank, substantial real estate holdings, thriving businesses, poultry farms, and other income-generating enterprises. His decision to donate was driven not by pressure or legacy concerns, but by a deeply rooted sense of faith and purpose. Approximately 2/3 of his wealth was placed into a waqf, an Islamic endowment, to fund long-term societal needs such as education, healthcare, food security, and religious services. The remaining portion of his wealth was distributed among his children. One of his signature philanthropic projects is the Suleiman al-Rajhi University, a non-profit institution focused on advancing medical education and Islamic finance, located in Saudi Arabia. Born into poverty, al-Rajhi's rise to wealth is a classic rags to riches story. He began his working life as a porter and courier, eventually building an empire through determination, hard work, and a sharp business acumen. Yet, in stark contrast to many modern billionaires who accumulate wealth for generational preservation or legacy empires, al-Rajhi chose to relinquish nearly all of it during his lifetime. He has since disappeared from the Forbes billionaires list, but earned a place on a more meaningful one, a rare group of individuals who prioritize humanity over personal wealth. In his own words, "Everything I gave for God." Suleiman al-Rajhi's journey is more than a tale of charity. It's a powerful statement about values, purpose, and the true measure of success. In an era where wealth is often hoarded and philanthropy delayed, he embraced a different philosophy: give while you live. In other stories, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has announced a significant change to airport security procedures, unveiling a new policy that will allow airline passengers to keep their shoes on while passing through Transportation Security Administration (TSA) checkpoints. This marks a notable shift in long-standing U.S. aviation security practices, which for over 2 decades have required travelers to remove their footwear during screening, a measure originally implemented after the 2001 attempted shoe bombing. Speaking at a press briefing, Secretary Noem emphasized that the revised policy is part of a broader effort to modernize and streamline the passenger screening experience while maintaining high safety standards. According to Kristi, The TSA has adopted new advanced screening technologies that make it possible to detect potential threats without requiring passengers to remove their shoes. These updated scanners are designed to analyze footwear in real time, allowing security personnel to identify anomalies without slowing down the screening process. The policy is expected to improve efficiency at security checkpoints, reduce wait times, and provide a more comfortable experience for travelers, particularly seniors, children, and people with disabilities. It also aligns the US with several other countries that have adopted less invasive procedures thanks to technological advancements. While the change is being welcomed by many frequent flyers and civil liberties advocates, TSA officials assure the public that airport security will not be compromised. Random checks and additional screenings will still be conducted as needed, and the agency will continue to monitor and adjust the policy based on evolving threat assessments. This move represents one of the most visible efforts in recent years to balance rigorous security protocols with passengers' convenience, reflecting Homeland Security's shift towards smarter, technology-driven screening systems.
We have some very exciting news to announce that today we have started a new no shoes policy with the Department, the Transportation Security Administration. TSA will no longer require travelers to remove their shoes when they go through our security checkpoints. Now, this is especially important to streamline the process and look at efficiencies that we can build in as we build up for some big events that are going to be coming here in the next 12 months here in the United States of America. As you all know, right now we have the club championships going on. A lot of travelers and visitors are coming into the country, but next year we will also have the Olympics that will be in the United States of America. The World Cup matches will be happening, as well as many America 250 events. All of those will bring us record travelers to the United States. Many, many people will be on airlines traveling in and out of our airports, and it's important that we find ways to keep people safe, but also streamline and make the process much more enjoyable for every single.
Ralph Road, a professor of international law, has stated that any plan orchestrated by the United States and Israel to forcibly remove Palestinians from Gaza or the occupied West Bank would constitute a clear violation of international law. According to Professor Wild, such forced displacement of a protected population under occupation breaches multiple legal frameworks, including the Geneva Conventions, which prohibit the transfer of civilians from occupied territories. He emphasized that the international legal system views these actions as grave breaches, potentially amounting to war crimes, and warned that any attempt to justify or implement such a policy would be legally indefensible under current international standards. Moving into the world of entertainment, the Embassy of the Republic of Korea in Ghana has officially launched the 2025 edition of the Korean Cultural Festival with a landmark theatrical production titled Simajole, set to be the centerpiece of this year's celebration. The play is a Ghanaian adaptation of the Korean classical novel Sim Jeon, the story of Sim Jeon, and marks a creative partnership between the Korean Embassy and renowned Ghanaian theatre company Globe Productions, led by award-winning playwright and director Lateef Abubakar. The highly anticipated production will be staged on 2nd August 2025 in Tema and on 9th August 2025 at the Accra International Conference Center, with 2 showings at 4 o'clock p.m. and 8 o'clock p.m. Speaking at the launch in Accra, Korean Ambassador to Ghana, Park Gyeon-sing, described Simajole as a meaningful cultural collaboration that demonstrates Korea's enduring commitment to deepening cultural diplomacy with Ghana. The highlight of this year's festival is a theatrical performance based on the famous Korean classical novel, Sim Jung-cheon, reinterpreted through a Ghanaian lens and performed by Ghanaian actors. He said, Ambassador Gyeon-sing noted that this adaptation symbolizes Korea's broader efforts to build lasting cultural bridges through creative exchange. We are proudly working with Globe Productions, one of Ghana's most respected theater companies, to write a new chapter in Ghana-Korea cultural diplomacy. Directed by Lateef Abubakar, Simajole tells the moving story of a devoted daughter who sacrifices herself to the sea gods in hope of restoring her blind father's sight. While staying true to the core of the Korean tale, the production has been enriched with the language, symbolism, and cultural rhythms of Ghana's Ga people. By placing this story within the cultural setting of the Ga people, we have preserved the essence of the Korean original while creating a platform for cross-cultural understanding and creative fusion. The festival will also feature K-pop dance performances by Ghanaian youth, interactive cultural booths, traditional Korean cuisine, technology showcases, and other immersive experiences. Organizers say the decision to stage part of the festival in Tema is part of an ongoing effort to expand access to cultural events beyond Accra. Ambassador Gyeon-sing emphasized that the festival is more than just entertainment. It is a cultural bridge, fostering mutual appreciation and an understanding. It is our sincere wish that this event will help deepen the friendship between our two countries. In addition to the festival, the Korean Embassy continues to support cultural and educational initiatives in Ghana, including scholarships and exchange programs aimed at strengthening people-to-people ties. Lateef Abubakar, known for using theater to address social and civic issues, has previously partnered with the Spanish Embassy on Something Must Kill a Man and the Italian Embassy on The License. Both works combined comedy and drama to engage audiences in conversations about societal change. Together, let us continue to tell stories that move us and move the world. Tickets for Simajole are expected to go until later in July, with high demand anticipated from theater lovers and cultural enthusiasts across the country. To end the news, the Embassy of the Republic of Korea in Ghana has officially launched the edition of the Now, to end the news, a recap of the top stories. In the local news, Interior Minister has called for the reclassification of the Narcotics Control Commission as security agency. The post-harvest unit have appealed for the 24-hour economy inclusion to boost farmers' income. In the international news, Suleiman Al-Rajhi has given away $16 billion fortune by choice, redefining his wealth with one of history's largest charitable acts. Homeland Security Secretary Christine Noem has announced a new Transportation Security Administration (TSA) policy allowing passengers to keep shoes on during security screening. And in the international entertainment news, Lateef Abubakar has partnered with Korean Embassy to launch Simajole Theatre production as headliner for 2025 Cultural Festival. A massive thank you to my production team. News at 6 was brought to you by Dame Herbal, Root Fashion and Deco, Williams Pub. Thank you for watching News at 6. My name is Esther Akosia Gobli. Have a good evening.
Ken akwaba o na ade nti na wache sa.
Oh, so